The American Dragon returns. I'm Matt Carlins, and this is Just Pro Wrestling News for Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. A big welcome to those of you listening on TheWrestlingRevolution.com. You can bring our updates to your website. Find out how at JustProWrestlingNews.com.
AEW.
Last night's showdown between AEW champion Kenny Omega and Brian Danielson was an epic match, but it also ended without a winner. The two men wrestled to a 30-minute draw to open the Dynamite Grand Slam broadcast from New York's Arthur Ashe Stadium. After the match, Omega tweeted, quote, "Ain't gonna be no rematch," end quote. Dr. Britt Baker is still the AEW Women's Champion. She submitted Ruby Soho with the Lockjaw in last night's Dynamite main event. Also, Malakai Black used Green Mist to steal a win over Cody Rhodes, who had Brandi Rhodes back in his corner. Darby Allin and Sting beat FTR, and MJF beat Brian Pillman Jr. Matches for Friday's special 2-hour Rampage were also recorded last night. Next Wednesday's Dynamite will have Miro defending the TNT Championship against Sammy Guevara.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
The G1 is back underway Thursday with tournament matches from the A block. Shingo Takagi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Kota Ibushi versus Tomohiro Ishii, Kenta versus Yujiro Takahashi, and Toru Yano versus Great-O-Khan. Tetsuya Naito is out of the tournament after just one match. New Japan announced earlier this week that he withdrew and forfeited his remaining matches due to a left knee injury, specifically damage to the meniscus and MCL. There is no timetable for his return. B-block matches will resume on Friday with Kazuchika Okada versus Evil, Sonata versus Taichi, Yoshihashi versus Jeff Cobb, Tama Tonga versus Chase Owens, and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroki Goto. WWE announced on Wednesday that Nia Jax will require surgery for a posterior fracture and dislocation of her left elbow and will miss an undisclosed amount of time. Today's NXT UK has a three-way to decide the number one contender for the NXT UK Championship. It'll be A-Kid versus Rampage Brown versus Nathan Fraser. Also today, Wolfgang versus Teo Man in the semifinals of the Heritage Cup number one contender tournament.
Impact Wrestling.
We have a pretty big intergender match announced for tonight's Impact Wrestling. Chelsea Green versus Rohit Raju. Also tonight, Hikuleo versus David Finlay. Josh Alexander will kick off the show by formally relinquishing the X Division Championship. He has invoked Option C for a shot at Impact World Champ Christian Cage at Bound for Glory. Plus, Mickie James will be in the Impact Zone. Major League Wrestling's weekly TV is back this week. Fusion Alpha premiered on YouTube last night. Davey Richards beat TJP in the main event. The Von Erichs beat Team Filthy's Kevin Koo and Kit Osborne in a bunkhouse brawl. And Gino Medina beat Casey Navarro. MLW officially unveiled the first names for its new women's featherweight division. Brittany Blake, Holodead, Zoe Sky, Willow Nightingale, Nicole Savoy, and the Sea Stars, Ashley Vox and Delmi Exo. That is Just Pro Wrestling News for Thursday, September 23rd. Our next update comes your way tomorrow morning, we promise. Thank you for your patience, and please subscribe to this feed so you do not miss any of our updates. I'm Matt Carlins. Thank you for listening.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.